What's happening, everybody, and welcome to Moments with the Mobleys. I am your man, Johnny Mobley Jr.,
I'm his wife, Deirdra Mobley,
and we something like an ordinary couple.
with extraordinary purpose. Greetings, salutations, accolades, and blessings. How y'all doing today? I'm all right. Y'all want to know how I'm doing? I'm all right. Hey, baby.
Hey, sweetie.
You all right?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right.
Mm-hmm.
You sure?
I'm good.
You miss me?
I'd always miss you.
Let me tell y'all what the man of God be doing. He be answering the phone in the mid morning when I call him to check on him at work, and he be having his sexy voice on.
I just be talking to my regular boys, you know what I'm saying?
What? Like that's not your regular voice,
That's
sir.
my regular boys. What's up, baby?
What's up, baby? Who used to say that, Martin?
What? I'm trying to think. Well, he played a pimp or something.
Yeah.
What's up, baby? Yeah.
That's crazy. That is hilarious. So guys, today is what's today? Tuesday?
It's 2 days before a national holiday.
What's that national holiday?
It's Queen's birthday. She will be turning 51 with me.
Hey, turn up, turn up. That mean go in my bed early.
That's pretty much what it means. We busy, y'all. We is busy.
So
So
what does that mean? What you gonna give me for my birthday?
I got something.
Did I turn my pack off or is it still on? I'm all right. I think I'm okay. Okay. What we doing for my birthday, baby?
I know Saturday we got to go to the beach, right?
We have
We'll come. We'll stop and get a little breakfast or something, and then come home and go to bed. Take a nap. You don't want that?
okay. I just want to be where you are.
Well, that's what happen.
That's what I want.
'Cause me and you should never part.
Mati da da. Ain't no mountain, ain't no sea.
High. Oh, that's not the song.
Mati. Well, what was you about to say?
Ain't no mountain
No,
high
that's not what I was about
enough.
to say. I was about to sing
I don't know.
Mati da da.
Oh, I don't know that song.
From Color Purple.
Yeah, you know Color Purple like now. I don't know Color Purple like that. I think I watched Color Purple one time. I was mad at the dude, so
What?
because he was treating the women crazy.
Oh, that movie is a whole national staple.
And I said, well, y'all could have got together. We could
All right,
cut that joke on his Achilles tendon so he couldn't walk.
you crazy. The man was just playing his part and he played it well. You talking about Danny Glover?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nothing but death will keep me from her.
I ain't like Danny on there.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So guys, we are going to talk about um, why couples need other couples.
Mm.
And y'all might be like, well, what that mean? And we don't need no other couples. But we had, and this is, I'll preface it with this. I'm not going to go in depth about what it was, but we had the opportunity to go this past weekend and fellowship with some other couples
And pour in.
and pour into them. And we stayed at this one location. And if you all have followed me, y'all probably think I'm like the most extroverted person in the world, but it's kind of hard for me to. I wouldn't. I mean, I can do it, and I think it's more. I find it harder for me to introduce myself to somebody first and start a conversation. Sometimes I find myself doing it, but a lot of times maybe somebody will introduce themselves to me first, and then they strike up a conversation or they'll ask a question, and if it's something that I'm interested in, then they got me, and then I be trying to make myself be quiet. But for the most part, I'll just go and just be there, and if I'm not the type. My husband can, greet people, start conversations like that. He's a little bit better than I am. It's a little awkward for me. And so when we ended up going, and I pushed some of my fears aside, and we ended up staying the weekend
It was a lot of fears. First, the fear was us going and talking to a bunch of people we ain't know. That's the first fear.
and staying there.
And then the whole thing about all of us staying in the one house, that was the other fear. So I knew for sure. But I told her I felt a pull this time, and she said she did too. So we went. And tell them how was your time there?
Well, like I said, I'm not going in depth about it because what happened there stays there. But it was God. It was an amazing time, and so I thanked Johnny for really, because there are times when decisions need to be made about certain things, to go somewhere or not to go, invited, to do this, that, or the other, and you do take my feelings into consideration,
Yeah.
because you'll call me and you'll be like, babe, we were invited to this place, and then trying to say, well, let me pray about it, let me, let's go to the Lord, see what he say. And this one, I think I was telling somebody, this time when you called, it was like, even though I did say, well, babe, let me go pray about it, and then we'll come back together, because you were at work and I was running some errands, and I did, and I knew shortly after that it would, that the Lord had, cleared it and said, yeah, go. But I think I told you this, like, from what it sounded like when you called me, you was basically saying, I hear the Lord on this, and I
Yeah.
don't I don't need you to fight me on this one.
Yeah.
So I know when that conversation is gonna come up, versus, well, you tell me if you want to go or not. When
Yeah.
when you be kind of leery, and so I know that this wasn't one, and so I will say this, that the Lord met us there, and it was an amazing time. New friendships developed, new old relationships restored,
Yeah.
um, and it was a great time from literally the beginning to the end. It was a great time, and so I looked up, because y'all know I'm always gonna look up something. I know the experience that we had from being around other couples, and what makes me and lets me know that this was God ordained, is just because of the experience. Because if this wasn't something that he ordained for us to be a part of, then I don't think it would have been as amazing as it was.
Yeah, and it opened up on a lot of different areas. When we got the check in the mail, it just a lot of things just opened up, as if God just was placing stuff in our hands before we even got there. When we got there, even the ride there wasn't bad, and the ride home wasn't bad. It was just a lot of stuff that just happened, and our minds were made up, and our yes was our yes. So we knew we was going. We knew it was going to be a long drive, and we knew we was going to have to come back. So I believe because our yes was yes, God settled us in the entire trip.
Right, and more so me, y'all, because as I'm pretty sure that I've said on other podcasts, that sometimes anxiety tries to come on real bad for me, especially when on long trips like this one that we drive. But I told the Lord, I was like, okay, I've gotten the clearance from you now. Can you please have us go these back roads? Start us out on them, just to get my mind together. And so it was just a quick prayer I prayed on that Thursday.
Yeah.
And we started out on back roads, so we weren't, we eventually got to the interstate, but it was a lot of back roads when we first left. And but it wasn't tedious. Does that make sense? We didn't have to slow down and go 35 miles an hour,
Yeah.
or it wasn't a whole bunch of slowness, but it was the actual location was beautiful. And so I knew what we experienced. And when I looked this particular subjects up, I literally put in, why do couples need other couples?
Mm.
And one of our favorite sites came up, psychology.com, and the topic of it is why couples need other couples. And just from the couples that we do interact with, I know that it helps us,
Yeah.
because we are able to talk about things that we have been through. We're able to talk about new experiences.
Yeah.
We're able to talk about uh, kids, and what we've gone through with ours, and they may be raising theirs, or we all may have adult children and are able to share stories or talk about the grandbabies and stuff like that. So on the surface, I knew I pretty much knew what this answer was for this, but a lot of times you'll find people some people's perspective of, okay, you got a bunch of couples, six to eight couples in a one house for the weekend. Just something got to pop off.
Yeah.
Some people have that mentality, but when I tell y'all, it was nothing but love, respect, laughs, tears, all of the above included in the weekend. Nobody trying to just do too much,
It was,
because
yeah.
sometimes
It was
you run into
amazing.
where people be like, you be like, oh my gosh, they just did too much. But it was a different it was God, period. And so I looked this up, and it actually started talking about, research shows that double dates make your own partner more attractive. And I laughed when I saw that, because one of the comments from one of the ladies said that she went home looking at her husband all googly eyed and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so, not all bad things have to happen when couples get together. That doesn't always have to be the norm. Good things, and you can share ideas and make great connections and make great contact with people. Make friends that you didn't know that you would make. Sometimes friends that'll probably become family friends, or people that you may end up doing business with. So you just have to. I think you just have to be. And that's, let me say this, because I'm getting ahead of myself. That's why it's so important that it's something that we do. Whether it be something from the biggest thing to what we may consider the smallest thing, we ask God to order our steps. And that's just not in big decisions, but that's every decision, because it matters, because it aligns us with where He wants us to be,
Yeah.
who He wants us to be in contact with, in every stage of life. Yeah. So, do you have anything to share on that? Because I know
Mm-mm.
you say I'd be going.
Mm-mm.
Uh,
You got it.
a part of this a part of this article was saying, we usually see dates or gatherings as, romance between two people, which that's still important, the date nights with just you and your spouse is said, but it should be noted that being with good platonic friends can enhance a couple's relationship. If your partner's having a good time, 9 times out of 10 you will. And so it just says between 75 and 80% of people that they actually interviewed about this article that were married, um, and they had some couples that were just, I guess, just couples but not married yet.
Mm.
And they said, they reached a few conclusions about the advantages of friendships between couples. It says, and they put them like in three different categories. Okay, so it says they found that, couples could be placed in one of these three categories: seekers, which meant they were very interested in meeting new
Mm.
couples; keepers, which meant they were content; those couples were content with the couple friends that they had, though they were open to being friends with new couples.
Yeah.
But then they had the nesters, who are content in staying within a very small circle of friends and not interested in necessarily making new friendships.
Mm.
And it says people in the first group tend to be extroverts, like, just willing to meet new people wherever,
Yeah.
whenever. And then they tend to have the couples in the second group, they said, which were called the keepers, who were content with their friends, couple friends that they had already, but still had an open mind to invite new couples
Yeah.
into the friendship. They said those were considered the keepers, and this group tends to have very busy lives that include a lot of family members and activities. They were open to new friends, but not necessarily seeking them. And the third group, the nesters, tended to be more introverted. They may have found each other later in life, uh, kind of settled into who their friend groups are, and
Mm.
really wasn't, looking to be looking at for outside friends to be
Yeah.
couples to come into their circle. They're really, because they got together later in life, they're saying they're really focused on, learning each other
Yeah.
and then keeping that same small group of friends that they have. It says,
I think you have been all three of those at some point
at
in your
some
life.
point,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because in the
we
beginning,
have, yeah.
at a point in our life, my wife was trying to hook us up with every couple in the world. In the world. Setting stuff up. We going to the mountains. We going to everything.
You're crazy.
It was just crazy. And I was like, who is these people? I think you will like them. Okay, why we just can't go and meet them? Why we got to go all the way out of town with them? So, anyway, after that part started, then we had a couple of good friends, and she just kind of wanted to stay into that. And then the Nestor part, I feel like that's where she kind of had now. She on, because the girls grown up and they got, husbands and stuff now and getting husbands, and she kind of like, them my friends. I don't need nobody else outside of that. And I'm like, yeah, we do. We do. That's why I got the dudes in my life, because I need that. And now I think you starting to realize that, I've always said, as much as people might say, because they've been hurt or been traumatized or whatever the case is, they don't want to deal with people. We need each other. You just got to find healthy, whole people.
Yeah.
But you got to be healthy and whole too.
Yeah.
To be with. So y'all can, it improves your life. It impacts your life. It doesn't take away. It doesn't tax you. It doesn't drain you. It doesn't do that. So, our friends in our life, they handle their own business. They got their own houses. They got children, all that, and we all respect that. But then we have times where we do get together and we do something. So, and we have fun. And I think that's needed. I really believe wholeheartedly that that's needed. And I think that's something that God created. He didn't create us to be by ourselves. So that's my point, 2 cents.
Yeah. What they were saying in the article was that some couples were composed from people of different categories. Like one of like the husband or the wife, one in the relationship. So one was an extrovert, and then one was the introvert. One was the seeker, and one was the nester.
Mm.
And then they said those couples, of course, had to compromise to meet each other's needs when it came to seeking, new friends and stuff like that. I think in the beginning stages, like you say, I was a seeker.
Yeah.
And I mean, you were up for it, but you were like, babe, where you going?
My thing was, if we go
Why
do it, let's do a double date to a restaurant. She would be like, so, this
We gonna go on a
weekend we
trip.
going on a trip with them. We going to Tennessee or we going to Alabama. I'm like, what? I don't even know them. You know them. They go to church. You know them. You seen them here. Like, we don't. And then we done get somewhere and it's different.
It's something crazy pop
It's
off.
different meeting somebody at a restaurant, spending an hour or two with them, and then going somewhere with them and staying up under the roof. That's why this experience with the couples that we went with, it was amazing because, I don't know if they knew they was gonna get what they got when they
I
got
don't think
there.
they knew that.
But once they got there, cause yeah, it was at one point in time the day before we was just having fun, so they just thought we was crazy, and then when we started doing sessions, they was like, we ain't knew y'all was, we ain't know, we really
It was
didn't
like
know.
we came in undercover.
Y'all jokers fooled us, y'all tricked us, cause we didn't know all this was in y'all. Yeah, so, but and my thing, with us having fun, we for one, we don't really get a chance to do that a lot, and for two, I wanted to have fun with you, but then a small percentage of that wanted them to see, because if you notice, a lot of them wasn't dancing like we were dancing.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of dancing. I'm like, it don't make no sense for me to have my wife here, and the song say "Get Up on It" and you not on it. Well, I don't understand what the problem is. The song say "Get Up on It," I'm on it. Everybody else trying to do a little line. I'm up on it. Well, what the problem is? Follow the instructions. It said "Get up on
With
it."
my wife. Y'all he had me blushing. For what? I was like, babe, we got to finish the dance.
Girl.
I was, Jay. I was low key blushing. Oh my goodness.
I was having a ball.
We
I was
really
having a
did.
ball.
It was so funny. So it said those couples who have, one is the seeker, one is the nester. Of course, they had to compromise to kind of meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Where one pushed, pushed the other one to socialize a little bit more. And I think I've been in that spot too, when you kind of pushed me a little bit. But also, when I was in the seeker position, I kind of pushed you a little bit.
Yeah, and I think
it wasn't too horrible.
No, but I think the reason it changed because the relationships that you were trying to start with like couples, and then it was a whole lot of stuff with the couples.
Yeah.
And you kind of saw that in a lot of different couples that you tried to befriend.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of like, okay, so I'm gonna take a step back now, because I want to go and have fun with y'all, and
Right.
we wind up going, and then
y'all
on one,
crazy y'all get out.
y'all fussing on one side of the room, and then we over here hugged up like
and loving on each other.
Yeah, and y'all just not.
Y'all few.
So I think
we don't want it.
I think you pulled back after that.
Yep, I did.
And now you real cautious.
Careful, real cautious.
Cause when I told her we was going, and I said we gonna be facilitating the sessions with the couples, she was like, let me ask God. And then she said, where we staying? I said, so
we go all
we gonna be in they got a room, a house. They got a lot of rooms, and we gonna be staying under the same roof. And she's like,
granted, the house was beautiful. It was amazing.
She said, let me go back to Jesus real quick. And hey, you tripping.
The man of God knows his wife, though.
I said that I made sure. I told I said, just give me a minute. She got to consult God on it. So she came back and she said, so, he said, yeah, but
I think I low key was still trying to kind of.
We gonna be in the house with all the we know the people, baby. Let's just go. Cause I told this is y'all. This is what we want to do for a living. We want to travel and talk to couples and help couples. And I think God gave us a piece of what that can actually look like. Cause you already know when we talk to couples, especially when we got that thing on us, when we talk to couples, they like literally share their whole hearts with us. And then wind up saying, I don't know why I'm telling you all this.
Right.
But,
and we've gotten that a lot too.
Yeah, well, but it's our purpose. We're a safe place for a lot of couples. And they don't even know it. We don't even say stuff like that. But we're a safe place. And it ain't us. It's the God in us that
none of us.
They draw to. So that's what gives them a soft heart to be transparent and share stuff, because everybody wants some kind of help in an area of their life, especially when it comes to their marriage and different things. But some people, they compartmentalize it and they don't talk about it. They kind of let it go on for however many years, and then what they do? Get a divorce after whatever many years. Yeah.
Differences.
I don't know why I can't remember that. Maybe because
And
I
he
don't
hates
believe
it.
that.
Right, he hates it.
I don't. Irreconcilable differences. Irreconcilable difference.
Irreconcilable.
Whatever. It's
Differences.
no such. I don't believe it's such.
Well,
I think
that's
the
what
law
people say.
the law created that to get people an option to divorce if they feel like we just can't be married. We can be mother and wives to our children, but we just can't be together no more.
And for some people, that may be their story, and they're more toxic together than they would be apart. And so,
But we would say a lot of people get married and they feel like they get married on paper and then everything just go fall in line.
Yeah.
And they figure, at some point in time, they're not getting equipped. They don't get premarital counseling.
Excuse me.
So you ain't even been equipped to actually do what you want to do. You just think because you signed the papers and you did it, that it's just gonna fall in line. And that ain't how it works. Anything worth having is worth working for. Now I'm gonna stop on that because that irreconcilable.
I can't. He just butchered up the word.
I don't like it. I don't like the word.
To finish with the article, it's talking about how, of course, it says no two people can agree 100% of the time about the extent to which they wish to invite new friends in, new couple friends in, to their smaller circle, into their smaller, more intimate circle of friends. It says dragging one spouse or partner into spending time with another couple is not a good idea, because then the other spouse is going to be looking like, I don't want to be here. Why am I here? Why,
Yeah.
it ain't going to be no kind of unity,
And
no kind of.
their mind gonna be already made up that they're not gonna like it. I'm not gonna get along.
Yep.
So
the vibe is bad. Everything is blowed
Yeah.
off and everything. But it's saying mostly that's for difficult for younger couples versus the older couples who may have time on their hands because they don't have, a bunch of smaller kids or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Their kids may have grown up, they're empty nesters or whatever that looks like. That's what they're saying is why it tends to work better for the older couple. It says at the same time, when you see your spouse happily engaging with another couple, it can make the person more attractive. And so this is what I was telling you about, one of the responses from one of the wives. It says being close with friends that both partners like can bring out the best in everyone, whether it's playing golf, whether it's seeing the beach at dawn, laughing at a bad movie, or just sharing a great meal and hearing from that couple how they have handled the normal ups and downs of life.
I think that happened a lot this weekend.
Most definitely is what we witnessed.
Yeah.
It says it can be instructive and provide ideas about how to handle the struggles that may emerge as they're raising young children, especially if you're able to talk with a seasoned couple who has raised their children, and now they may have grandchildren, so they've gone through the years of either doing that or assisting aging parents or dealing with some personal issues. Because the one thing that I shared with when we were sharing this weekend was that a lot of people in marriages, and we've shared this before, they think that they're the only ones going through it.
Oh yeah.
Because you're in that situation, so you feel like I can't say anything, I can't, nobody will understand, nobody will know how to help me, this and that. And one of the other things that we shared was that when people, get married, a lot of people will jump to, the first thing that they'll jump and say is, oh, well, don't, just have a happy marriage, just, keep everybody out your business, don't tell nobody your business and all this. But I said, I beg to differ, because what you don't want is to be in a marriage and you're suffering and you're going through all these situations, but you don't have anybody to maybe talk to. But what I did say was, I disagree with the don't tell nobody what's going on in your marriage. Get you preferably Another couple that's seasoned in marriage do have some time and some good fruit up under their belt and can give you some godly wisdom and principles about marriage. Whether that's maybe your pastor, your first lady, maybe a counselor that is a spiritual counselor that actually gives good, like I said, good, sound biblical advice when it comes to marriage. That's what I would give for that. So I wouldn't just say, well, don't let nobody tell nobody your business. Well, a lot of people are in the trouble, marital and otherwise, because they're not saying anything and they don't have anybody. Of course, you ain't gonna just be telling all your friends that's single or who ain't never been married or who been married and maybe wasn't successful at it or whatever. Of course, be careful with who you choose to get counsel from. But that's what I think both of us would say. You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Okay. Um, and so the article was going on to share just that um, consider this, that couples consider sharing maybe a Saturday or one time a month. Put that into your leisure time when not just your date night with you and your spouse, but add another couple into it maybe once in a
And
month.
that's what, and I think that's why we developed the date night part of
Yeah.
our, to create that atmosphere and the communication back and forth with the husband and wife. We put some activities in there, not a whole lot, but we we lean more on the questions that we give to the couples at their tables for them to actually have conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what it's mostly about. So, and we've been asked to bring it back. It's coming back. We just revamping it.
We promise. We promise.
Yeah,
We
it's
promise.
coming back. We've been asked. We've been asked. So it's coming. I don't know why I did that.
You're so crazy. Another thing that came up when we were having a conversation was, about the part why being with, other couple may make you appreciate your spouse, and then Allison was like, well, because they probably see how crazy some other couples be, and they'd be like, oh, thank you, Lord, for my man. And so I laughed, but I also shared the other view of it, or the other aspect that you could think of it from is just being around. I think I may have mentioned it earlier, but just being around other couples and seeing them triumph over things that maybe you're going through, and being able to see that there is light at the end of that tunnel, and being able to see maybe how that couple interacts with one another and the love that they have. And you can feel when somebody has like a shared genuine love for one another, that may make you feel like, well, I want that in my relationship. Like, how do y'all get that? How do y'all get that closeness? How do y'all, how are y'all after all these years still loving and still cherishing and still being respectful and honoring one another and still liking each other? Because sometimes that's a question. But those are the things that I would think that would make another couple glean from
Yeah, it's the
when
iron
they're
sharpen
with.
iron. It's the
Yeah, yeah,
iron
yeah,
sharpen iron
absolutely.
technique, and that's why I say we need people,
Yeah.
good people in our lives, um, that are atmosphere changers, that can make an atmosphere feel good and make you feel good about what you, because being married and loving on your spouse and being together a long time is not nothing horrible. It's not bad. It's not too old. It's not sickening. And a lot of people trip when they see me and my wife out, because we do love on each other. We hold hands. We do all those things. I open doors. So, and I've been doing that, you know, our whole life together. So, it is a real thing. It is a real thing. We have always said in the past, marriage is not something that you do, it's something that you live. And, there are major parts that has to go a certain way. And then there's other parts that you kind of create your own recipe for how you work it. It doesn't have to be traditional. It can be however it is, whatever works for you and your spouse. That's what we believe in. That's what worked for us. So we're not telling y'all nothing that doesn't work. We telling y'all stuff that has worked for us, and that's why we're still together and we still moving strong and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, this weekend, and we actually shared with the couples. you know, they came and they thanked us, and they were very appreciative of of what we imparted and the direction and guidance that we gave during the sessions. But what we expressed to them is, y'all encouraged us as well. It's always a two-way thing. We don't go just to give, but we look to get something back as well. And if it's just a friendship, if it's just them being transparent, opening up, and wanting to be better, it's one thing for a couple to come and they don't want nobody to touch or see or expose that spot. They want everybody to think that they're a certain way. But then it's something different when you got a couple who are okay, but they know they got some stuff they need to work on, and then they can share it in front of other couples. This, when I tell y'all, this weekend was so amazing. We did a whole lot of praying, and we was asking God to set the atmosphere and set their hearts and let their hearts be tender and let them be transparent and give us the wisdom to be able to adjust how we needed to adjust. Because like I said, it was going to be an hour of a group session with all 8 couples, and then after lunch we was going to do one-on-one sessions. But we did like a 3, almost 4-hour session with all of them, and then we did individual counseling in the entire session that helped the entire group. So it was an amazing time, but God really set their hearts and turned their hearts for it to be something very, very valuable and rich, and an enrichment time for them to be imparted into. And God gave us what we needed to say and how we needed to move and everything. So it was an amazing God time. That's all we can say.
Amen.
It was an amazing God time. And then before the sessions, we had a great time with them, getting to know them, meeting them. And then afterwards, it was even better because now, the bond was greater because these people were being vulnerable in front of us.
And were we?
Yeah, and now that just took in 2.5 days, it took relationships to a whole different level. And being in a house with that many people, you expect somebody to have an argument, somebody to fight, somebody to leave, somebody to leave somebody there. It's you always expect something to happen. When I tell you nothing like that it didn't happen. It was an amazing, amazing time. The atmosphere was very, very conducive for whatever He wanted to do.
Yeah.
It was an amazing time with a bunch of amazing people. So if y'all watching this podcast, y'all know who we talking about, kings and queens. So we look forward to.
We heart y'all.
Yeah, we look forward to spending some time with y'all again. We already working on another time for us to come and spend some time with y'all again. So that'll be out pretty soon. We gonna make sure we put it on our schedule. The couple that's facilitating the entire thing, they're putting it together. I just told them to let us know in enough time. And some of the couples that we have that we actually counsel here, our couples, we're gonna actually see if they would like to come this time. So I think this is gonna be something that's gonna grow pretty big. So we just gonna put, I thought you were gonna say something about me saying because I hear myself saying it.
I didn't see. I didn't check you on it, but I heard it.
So we will let people know as it continues to grow. I believe We have a couple of couples that we're going to train to help facilitate, because I think the bigger it gets, we will definitely need assistance with doing stuff. So more to come on that. But for everything Mobleys, www.momentswiththemobleys.com, on all social media platforms except for not Twitter, but X. Twitter, which is now X. We are
Mobley Moments. Everything else, we're Moments with the Mobleys.
If you have any questions, comments, statements, whatever, you can send it to info@momentswiththemobleys.com. You got anything else? No. Yeah, so I answer for you because you already telling me to get off of whatever. So this has been Moments with the Mobleys.
Before my birthday.
This has been Moments with the Mobleys. I am your man, Johnnie Mobley Jr.
I'm his wife, Deirdra.
It took a long time to say it. Let's try that again. This has been Moments with the Mobleys. I am your man, Johnnie Mobley Jr.
I'm his wife, Deirdra.
You'll keep pausing. And we might be something like an ordinary couple.
With extraordinary purpose. Forever.
See the abuse.
Give me a kiss.
I don't want no kiss out of you. Peace out, y'all.